Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on issue 7 of Transformers Energon. Now, as you know, Transformers Energon is meant to be Dreamwave's take on the second part of the Energon trilogy, with a much better storyline and better ideas than the TV series. And the cover mainly has the Omnicons battling against Snowcat, who's employed not to be a separate who's meant to be employed to be a separate character and not a reformatted Cyclonus. And the story starts off with Optimus seeing news reports of the Omnicons' actions, and of course doing more harm than good, and Optimus saying, "This we could do without. Especially now, Hotshot, with negotiations at such a critical state. It's only take one more incident to turn Earth's authorities and its general province authorities against us." And of course, has Hotshot assigned the Omnicons to a sort of Alaska-like area where Ironhide are Kicker at to help deal with the energon mining and that. And of course, we see how even Cybertron has been getting ready to sort of be prepared for any future Decepticon attacks. And of course, just as the portal opens up, we see the Omnicons showing up, but of course, because of their actions, they do more harm than good. And because of this, ends up kind of damaging some of the equipment, with Hotshot saying, "That is it. I've tried with you guys. I really have. I've been patient, understanding, and tolerant. And not one instruction, one single word of wisdom has sung in not once. All of you just get lost." And which they do. So pretty much Kicker and Hotshot go looking for the Omnicons and follow the sort of energon trail. We see how the Omnicons end up to an abandoned city, or a small mining town, but of course, just then, weaponry show up, and Skyblast says, "Vaz, don't know, don't care, but let's do until them before they do us." 'Cause Skyblast, no, we don't know. But of course, Snowcat shows up, and if you don't know, in the Energon cartoon, Snowcat was a reformatted Cyclonus, while in the comics, it's implied to be a separate character, who says, "Well, look what the cat dragged in." And of course, Scorponok mainly speaking with Snowcat and that, and saying, "Yeah," and ends the call saying, "You wouldn't know some privacy if it bit you the afterburners, amateur." And saying that he knows Megatron's still out there and will bring back to what's rightfully his, we see how in the Omnicon's mind, they find themselves in a dark void. Overrun shows up to point out every bit of their training, everything they've done, and everything they've been through to help function like a unit and help them get back into their senses. And just then, Snowcat sees that the Omnicons have escaped and are now looking to get even with him. And him saying, "Right then, let's do this the fun way, help mode. And no, and if you're thinking of trying and fancying energon enhanced moves, don't." And of course, they try going for them, and we see them racing off together as a unit, but turns out their weaponry don't work anymore because Snowcat had sabotaged their weaponry. But of course, they managed to get together to block off a path, and saying, "Huh?" And of course, we see how they use their powers to cause an energon fissure on Snowcat, and Skyblast picking up Snowcat, and we see how he's dropped off with Redshot and Kicker, and they see that the Omnicons are now back in one piece, We see how Optimus goes back to find reinforcements on Cybertron, with Hotshot saying, "Good luck. Somehow I don't think the High Council on Cybertron will want any part of this." "You know what they say, Hotshot. If at first you don't succeed, try again." "My sentiments exactly, Megatron." "So good of you to drop in again, Optimus Prime. Only this time, you're more of a captive audience." And this is the story. So I think this one is kind of okay. I think, yeah, it's nice to give a glimpse of the Omicons trying to be more in a different environment. And this does remind me a bit of an episode from Star Wars The Clone Wars, where we see moments where even Yoda had to help the clones reinsure themselves, and there were episodes with the clones that had chances to show their characters. And I felt you could have had Snowcat being questioned by Red, by Red, Kicker, or Hotshot, but I think it's still alright, so it still deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.